Hello, everyone, and welcome to Building Character with me, Logan. I am one half of the hosting team for the Story Told RPG podcast, and we are proud members of the D20 Radio Network. We are proudly partnered with Fool's Moon Entertainment. You can find information about both of those organizations across our socials. And we are affiliated with Metallic Dice Games. If you go to their website and enter the code STORYTOLD10 into your order, you'll receive 10% off. They have some really amazing dice and products, so go ahead and check them out. I know this is a little bit of a weirdness. I know we typically do these on Mondays, but I'm doing it on Tuesday today because I was given the opportunity to playtest Mystery at Roseville Beach, which is a queer horror game set in the 70s that I might get to write for. We'll see what happens. It's kind of exciting. The writing for it is part of a Kickstarter pledge that a friend did that they're graciously letting me also do, which was really cool. Got to playtest that and it was really cool, but that is not why we are here today. Today, we're going to be making some characters for this game called Heart, The City Beneath. And it is kind of an adventure/horror game. And on the back it says, mages hooked on illegal magic, desperate for another hit. Ruins ancient beyond reckoning, overgrown with bone and sinew. A sunken moon, fecund and glorious, that calls the faithful ever deeper. Glyph-marked bees that swarm within you and seal your madness up with wax. Downtrodden mercenaries bearing the weight of a lost regiment on their shoulders. Regal witches who channel unearthly powers through their own diseased blood. Vagabond knights wearing armor bristling with barely understood machinery. Chthonic angels that sing a screeching, scraping song of rust and ashes. A red, wet haven slumbering fitful under the city of Spire. This is the Heart. This is the city beneath. Very cool, very evocative, very neat. We're going to make a few characters for that tonight. But just so you know, Heart the City Beneath is a tabletop role-playing game about delving into a nightmare undercity that will give you everything you've ever dreamed of, or kill you in the process. It is a dungeon-crawling, story-forward tabletop RPG that focuses on what the characters have to lose in pursuit of their dreams in the chaotic darkness beneath the world. And that is just fascinating. To kind of give you a basic idea of how it works, you do typically use D10s, but you also use D12s in some cases, and I think D8s. We'll find out as we put this together. But to build a dice pool, you start with a D10, you add a die for your relevant skill, a relevant domain, a relevant mastery, and then you roll the dice pool. If it is... There's different levels of difficulty. If it's a risky, you remove the highest die that you roll from that roll. If it's dangerous, you remove the 2 highest die. To determine success and failure, a 1 is a critical failure. You'll fail and take double stress. A 2 to 5 is a failure. You'll fail and take stress, and stress is something in the mechanics here. We're not really going to go into that today. It's not what we do for this episode. At a 6 to 7, because you add all these dice together, it's success at a cost, which means you succeed but you take stress. If you get an 8 to 9, you succeed and take no stress, and if you get a 10, you get a critical success. I take that back. I don't think you add them. I think what you do is take your highest to determine what you do based on the die you roll. The more dice you roll, the more chances you have of getting a better roll. So on a 10, it's a critical success. You succeed dramatically and increase outgoing stress die by 1 step, which is a mechanical thing. On a 6 or more, you inflict stress if tackling an adversary or a delve. Inflict stress to a relevant adversary or delve using the dice size for the character's equipment. On a 7 or less, resolve the stress and fall out, and again, we're not going to go into there. So a couple things. The book has different ancestries, and that is kind of like your race, and it has a really cool sidebar in here about racism and the reasons for and importance of avoiding it, because it talks about how these characters are people, and just because you're a drow, for instance, doesn't mean you're a sexy, duplicitous spider worshiper, because the drow are so heavily coated with a lot of racist tropes. This game is really trying to take that, subvert it, and turn it on its head and say no more, which is really cool. You're going to have different callings on why you're delving into heart. Things like adventure, enlightenment, being forced, or being penitent. There's one that I really like called Heart Song, which is cursed with dreams of the heart, you delve in search of revelations, and has this whole spiritual aspect to it. You have different, like I said, you have different callings. Then you have different classes, like the Cleaver, the Deadwalker, the Deep oh, I can never pronounce this word, a Beekeeper, Apiarist. You have Heretics, Hounds, Incardenine, Junk Mages, Vermissian Knights, and Witches. You also have the races, like I mentioned. You have the High Elves, the Drow, the Humans, and the Gnolls. Um, and those, if you're familiar with D&D, High Elves are like elves that we all know. The Drow are the elves that live in the Underdark. Gnolls are kind of like bipedal hyenas, kind of. Yeah. And humans are, well, you know, us and all of our flaws. um, so, first things first is we're going to make our first character. And in honor of my friend Thomas's birthday, we are going to make a character based slightly on them. I'm using Thomas as my inspiration, as it were. So, Thomas, if I get this wrong, it's not personal. I love you to the moon and happy birthday. So let's see. So we're going to Thomas, last name to be determined. So the first things first is you select an ancestry, then you choose a calling and record the granted ability. Let's see. I think that Thomas's calling is enlightenment. That's just kind of what I'm guessing. And we'll add in some of these abilities here in a moment. And then we'll choose a class and all of its recorded abilities. Well, Thomas, I think that they are a Vermissian Knight, which are armored explorers and protectors of a cursed mass transit network. As long as I've known Thomas, Thomas is always on the move, always traveling, but always there to be a friend. And I kind of see the Vermissian Knights as these noble protectors in a way. So we're going to go with that. Let's see, Vermissian Knight. Did I spell that Vermissian? Huzzah! Watch me spell like the weird words correctly. Okay, so after we do these, I need to record core abilities. Then I select one major and 3 minor abilities for my class, choose my equipment, choose 2 beats for the first session, and answer questions from calling and do finishing details. So we're going to do this one thing at a time. Okay, so for the race, we're going to go... Oh, is there not a... Weird. There's not a place for that? Class calling... Huh. Well, we're going to go with Aelfir, which are the High Elves. Oh, wow, it doesn't let me do that. Okay. Let's see. Answer one of the following questions when you make your character. So Aelfir have really weird names. I think that Thomas has probably adopted a more human name due to being in the knighthood. Okay. So I have to either answer, you still wear your mask, what does it look like and why do you wear it? Or, your family name was ruined due to a cataclysmic social faux pas, what did they do? The third is, you still cling to one luxury that keeps you centered. A habit, a style of clothing, a drug, etc. What is it? I'm going to come back to that in a minute. I don't know yet. I don't know which one of these I want to answer. But there is a cool thing, and maybe this might give me some insight. When you generate your character, roll or pick twice and to create some trinkets and keepsakes that are brought with them to the city beneath. So I'm going to roll twice, because I like random. I like random on this show. 19. Paints, brushes, and an easel of sort. Russian. Brishes. I can't type. Ah. Okay, so number 2. 10. Elaborate and shrill sounding flute. Well, that tells me one thing, that I want to answer, you still cling to one luxury that keeps you centered, a habit, style of clothing, a drug, etc. What is it? Let's do something. Thomas still clings to the arts and culture of the Aelfair. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. I know, Tuesday, right? Gosh, everyone's so quiet today. How's everyone doing? Wow, there's some names I don't recognize here. Hello, newcomers. I hope you enjoy what we're doing. If you're new here, what I'm doing is I just kind of like to sit back and build characters from various systems that I'm kind of falling in love with or kind of like or I'm intrigued by. A lot of them I don't know really well. Some of them I do. The ones I don't know well, this is an effort for me to learn how to make a character in the system as well as show other people who might have questions as well. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And tonight I'm going to be making 3 characters. Okay, so like I said, we chose Enlightenment. So the core ability for Enlightenment is Unorthodox Methods. And what this means is you blend together method and madness in pursuit of your goals. Gain the Discern skill. So we'll look down on here, and we're just going to put a check mark next to Discern. Bam. Once per session before you roll dice to resolve an action, instead state that your result is a 6. You succeed but take stress. So when you create your character, answer these questions. What impossible thing are you attempting to achieve in the city beneath? Okay, let's see. We're going to do to be a true hero in every sense of the word. What's the first step on your journey? I think that Thomas, in adopting this human name, is trying to thinks that the first step on their journey is finding a found family. I really can't type. There we go. Choose another player character. They've been invaluable in your journey so far. What have you learned from them? We're not going to answer that one because that requires a little bit more context, and you get it. Choose another player character. You know they're hiding secrets from you. What do you suspect they're doing? Why do you suspect they're doing this? We're not going to answer those. That's okay, though. That's okay. So, like I said, I think I need to choose 2 beats. I think I need to choose 2 beats. So I'm going to choose 2 minor beats. Find a helpful text. And let's see, let's do a second one. This just kind of gives you some plot hooks in game. Meet someone from your old life who is trying to get you to give up on your quest. Bam. So this ties Thomas back to their people, to the High Elves and the city of Spire, who are the ones in power, the ones in control, who they are actively trying to get away from and do something better. Oh crap, I need a D10. Why do I always do this to myself? Why do I never have dice around me when I actually need them? So, roll 1d10 on the following table or choose to determine what you carry with you to mark your calling. So, I didn't know I needed a d10 for this. I completely forgot. 7. That's fun. List of people who are going to pay. Some coping. I'm sure my typing is making everyone just so amused. Let's see. Okay, so that is the calling. La, 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 la. Cleaver. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm in classes now. Perfect. Okay, Vermissian Knight. Okay, so with this, I have to one major. Okay, so I have to record all my core class abilities, and then one major and 3 minor abilities. Choose equipment. Okay, cool. So my core traits, my skill is Delve. So I have Discern and Delve. My domain is Technology. That's interesting. Resource, spare wires, capacitors, and D6 technology. Okay, so my equipment, I can choose a Hunetic Hammer, Scrape Sword and Mage Light Rig, Steel Door Shield. I think I'm going to take the Scrape Sword. And Mage Light Rig. Let's see, so that's kill, D8, brutal, loud, and tiring. My core ability is Vermissian Plate. Let's find out what that does. So, Vermissian Plate. Your armor is made up of scavenged, barely understood technology from the alternate realities inside the Vermissian network, which is that train station, right? Once per session, when you consume a resource or the technology or occult domains by augmenting or repairing your armor, roll the resources dice and choose one of the following. You can do things like remove stress, inflict stress, gain access to a skill or domain for the rest of the session, or increase your blood protection by 1 for the rest of the situation. That's cool. Okay, so I need to choose 2 minor and 1 major ability, right? That's what we said? I think that's what we said. One major and 3 minor abilities. So, major, Etheric Field, Dragon Killer, Get Behind Me, Overclock, and Trailblazer. I think I'm going to do Etheric Field. So, your armor buzzes with static that makes your hair stand on end. This discharge can keep you safe from the body warping effects of the Vermissian. Once per session, activate this power. You gain +3 echo protection until the end of the current situation. So, major. Ah, not what I wanted. Let's see, so 2 minor abilities. Okay, we're gonna go Black Knight, which is really cool. Once per session, or I'm sorry, that was something else. You gain the occult domain. Once per session, when you enter a landmark, you can intuit the location of occult sect who are hiding information that will aid you in your quest. That's cool. So technology and occult, these like 2 diametrically opposed. Oh, Thomas got the subscription today, so Thomas doesn't get commercials. How is everyone doing out there? Everyone seems so quiet. That's okay though. Let's see. I think I'm also going to take, because I'm making like a true hero, I'm going to take the Knight Protector. So you're willing to kill and die to ensure that the Vermissian is safe. Gain this kill skill, which is going to make our little knight a warrior. Once per situation, when an ally within arm's reach would mark stress to blood, you mark an equivalent amount to blood instead. Cool. So you're a protector. That's neat. Let's see. Just make sure I didn't forget anything. Rules and detail. I don't know what the final details are. Healing, combat, fallout. Let me just make sure I understand what is going on here. Oh wow, I'm singing like Griffin does. um, okay. So that is all that it is to build a character. Again, we're not really going to the mechanics of this. I'm just kind of showing you what building a character in this looks like. All of this stuff is like for your stress trackers, I believe, and marking blood and echo. To give you an idea of what these things mean, though, just so you're aware. So, actually, I will go into a little bit of this. If you have a skill, you add 1d10 to your dice pool and pick the highest result when you perform. If you possess a relevant domain to a situation, so if something comes up where it's occult or technology, I add another d10 to my dice pool. If you possess a skill or domain and gain it a second time, you get a knack, and this is a proficiency with a particular facet. Think of it kind of like a specialty or something. I'm not quite sure what Blood, Mind, Echo, Fortune, and Supplies are, but give me just a second, and then we'll move on to making our next character, which I think is going to be an Aperus, because I love that class quite a bit. Rules and details. Okay, yeah, so these things, like the Blood, Mind, Echo, Fortune, Supplies, have to do with Fallout and management. They're kind of like health, from my understanding, they're kind of like health tracks in a way. So we don't really have to worry about that at the moment. Okay, so now we're going to go into our second character. So I'm going to save this, switch, do. And we're going to transition that to 2. Okay. Cool. Let's see. So I think I am going to make a dark elf, I think. I think so. I think that's what I want to do. So ancestry, we're going to go dark elf. Calling and record the granted ability. I think I'm going to go heart song with this. For that, my class, I'm going to go deep. So what I'm kind of doing is I've made like my fighter. Now I'm going to be making like my wizard, I think, and then I think I'm going to make a cleric. So I'll have healing, magic, fighting, standard kind of party fare. But we'll figure out that it'll probably be incarnating for the cleric in a moment. Let's see. So this character's name is Ophi. Let's see. Answer one of the following questions when you make your character. You were born in the city above and served in durance 4 years of indentured servitude. Nah. You were born in the city beneath. Where does your family live and who or what do they worship? Or you're a traveler from a distant land, the desert of Aliquam, the treacherous foothills of Nujab, or the Warrenist home nations. Where are you from and why aren't you there anymore? I think Ophi is from the foothills of Nujab, and what that is can mean a lot of different things. They might detail it a little bit in the locations, but for our purposes, it doesn't 100% matter. And they left due to visions of what was to come. Bam! Why is my phone blowing up? Ooh. Okay. So again, now we're doing the 2d20 roll to pick twice to create some trinkets that I come with me. 17. Your mother's second best dagger. I like that. That's cool. Bed dagger. I want to know what a bed dagger is. And 15. Brightly colored headscarf and dark glasses. Cool. Okay. Okay. I'm into it. Actually, though, I think I'm going to change this from heart song to forced. I kind of like that idea. Okay, that's making this a little bit more different, a little darker. Let's see. Adventure, enlightenment, forced. Core ability, collateral. You have a knack for getting behind someone else when things kick off. Once per session, allocate stress to the near friendly target, PC or NPC, instead of marking it. Instead of marking it for yourself. So when you create your character, answer these questions. Who or what are your masters? So, Ophi's master are the High Council of Allied Tribes. This is something I'm just kind of making up. And because of Ophi's visions, they sent him here to Heart underneath Spire to help their people. How do your masters contact you? They send acolytes at appointed times. I can't spell acolytes either. I can't spell anything apparently. Jesus. At appointed times. No, I can't use the space bar. That's really what's going on here. I can't use a space bar. 420 F1 to cool. I don't know who that is. I don't know who. Well, guys, those of you that are watching that I'm not familiar with, please come say hello. I'd like to know who you are. Oh. What do your masters want? My masters want me to bring back the Jewel of Dashala to heal the land and restore our power. So Ophi is looking for something. Oh, and then how are the masters maintaining power over you? They hold my family in trust. And then choose another player character. They have history with your masters too. What's the relationship? That would come about if these characters started being played. That way, those at the table could kind of frame it with what they wanted. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple minor beats. Find a sanctuary where your masters cannot reach you. Can you imagine the pressure that Ophi is under? I mean, I can't. I can't. Do a favor for an NPC to gain leverage over them. I kind of think this is important, only because it gives Ophi it's not cute, it's not pretty, but in my mind it gives Ophi a little bit of agency, or the desire for agency. That's just my opinion, though. Okay, so callings, done. Deep Apiarist. Okay, so I get the skill Mend. So I'm going to check that off. I get the Occult Domain. Resource, Heartsbloom Rose and a glass jar. Wait, I'm confused. 1 second. Oh, I forgot the D10 roll. We'll come back to that. 4. Matchbook from the Manticore and Upspire Casino. That's interesting. So maybe I was there first, or somehow. I don't know. Okay, cool. So Deep Apiarist. Okay, so resource. Heartsbloom Rose in a glass jar. Let's see, D6, Occult, Fragile. Okay, so I have a Hive tool. That's my equipment. And it is kill, D4, brutal. And these things are keywords, and they have special traits that are assigned to them. It's pretty common in a lot of games. I don't know exactly what the brutal does here, but we can find out. I can look it up. It'll be a minute. And then I can pick one of a dimensional barometer, a hunting rifle, or a smoker. I think I went the dimensional barometer based on what Ophi's here to do. Delve and D6. Okay. So minor, I get a major and 2 minor. I'll probably do my major first because I feel like the majors kind of let you frame your character a little bit conceptually. So there's things like Annihilation. There's Delirium Spike, Blessed Toxin, Unchaos, Sacred Geometry. I think I'm going to take Sacred Geometry. In Sacred Geometry, basically, when you're rolling to inflict stress on a delve or adversary, or remove stress from yourself or an ally, and you roll a 6, and number sacred to Aperist, roll an additional d6 and add it to your total. That's kind of cool. It means that, they are going to probably take less stress because they'll become more successful at what they do, which is probably why Opie was sent. Now, I get to choose 2 minor. I'm going to take Many Eyes. That gives me the Discern skill. So each of your companions is a vessel for your sight to gain the Discern skill. When you stand still and close your eyes, you can see through the eyes of any of your bees, allowing you to spy around corners or look into close spaces. Cool. I'm also going to take Thrice Warded. So, your bees are marked with auspicious glyphs, and you are able to brave the worst of the heart unscathed. Gain the Cursed Domain. Each session, the first time you would take a minor fortune fallout, avoid the fallout and do not remove the stress from fortune. That's really cool. Neat. I'm enjoying this. Opie is kind of frightening. Okay. Cool. Okay, so that is the second character. We are going to start the third. And I think, because I do want to do that cleric, but I don't think I want to go human. I think I want to go Gnoll. Because I haven't made a Gnoll in this game before. Wait, I feel like, did I miss an ability? I feel like I did. Oh, I totally did. So, real quick, we're going to go back to this for just a minute. I forgot some core abilities. So the Deep Aperist gets the Hive, which probably makes this make a lot more sense. So basically, the sweetlings nest within your body. Some of your organs are replaced with complex copies made from wax by industrious bees that live within you. A few at first, but as you grow in power, great swarms. Their curious buzzing aligns your mind with a hive. At the beginning of each situation, clear all mind stress as incipient madness flows through you into the hive. You can never benefit from mind protection or remove stress from mind aside from using this ability. You also get Release the Swarm. You send out a swarm of bees eager to defend you, gain access to the following weapon. Kill, D4, spread, and ranged. Okay, so I just need to kill, D4, spread, and ranged. Again, keywords. That makes this make a lot more sense. That's cool. There's some cool abilities. I think this game would just be wild to play. Just wild. Let's see. Window capture. Okay, now we're gonna come back to this. So we're gonna make a Gnoll. Gnolls. not sure of the name yet. I'm going to wait to see what kind of happens here. Um, doo, doo, doo. So I have to answer a question, first of all. Answer one of the following questions when you make your character. You travel to the heart in search of something specific. Were you part of a team or were you on your own? You fled Spire. You were an escaped prisoner of war, refuge, or an agent of a clandestine mission? Meh. You were born down here. What image do you project to impress, surprise, or intimidate people? I think you were born down here. You Whoa. Let's see. So we have this kind of knight. We have this person who's not probably being quite honest with what they're doing here. The knight's looking for family, so image of wisdom. Wow, I really butchered that. I really can't type, friends. Okay, so that just kind of gives me a notion there. Okay, so I'm going to roll, let's see, a 3. Annotated map of the war-torn dust region. That's kind of cool. That actually fits with... And 9. Warm, leathery egg. Might be lunch. Or it might be something else. Why did I put a period there? So, yeah, so this character creation is very, very, very simple. It's kind of fun, and you get to think. Ooh, I like that name. I like the name Driss. It's an example name in here. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see, what is my calling? I don't think adventure's right. We've already done enlightenment, so let's try something new. We've already done forced. Heart song could be interesting. Penitent. I kind of like penitent. Cool. The core ability is not yet. So basically, your willpower fueled with guilt is legendary. Once per session, activates this ability to avoid suffering negative effects from blood or mind fallout for the remainder of the situation. Okay, so now we're going to answer some question. What marks your order out from others like it? We actually want to heal the wounded and sick of heart. I'm probably making characters that are a little bit more noble than what this game calls for, but I feel like tonight's kind of a night for it. It's been a rough day, and I think we should strive to choose our better angels today. But I think perhaps maybe being a penitent, Driss killed someone. What evidence of your failings is visible in the city beneath? I don't know how to answer that. Okay, you betrayed the trust of your order due to negligence, cowardice, or malice. You caused them great harm. I think Driss did something, caused his order to actually crumble, and is no longer around. The evidence is that the order no longer exists. The next two questions are ones you asked other player characters. I'm going to roll a 7 for the item. Book of handwritten melodramatic poetry. Maybe it is Driss's poetry. Okay, beats. Spare someone's life. Establish a connection to a landmark that so I think Driss is probably the last remaining member of their order, or one of the very few who are left. And perhaps Driss, in being penitent, is trying to revive her order. I think Driss is a woman. I think so. I think that's what we're going with. Okay. So, now we're going to go with class. Not heretic, not hound. And Kendarnian. Which are kind of like clerics in a way. Kind of. I think. That's what it said in here earlier. Let's double check that again real quick. Damned clerics of the hungry, cruel deity of debt. That's interesting. That's interesting. Let's see. So my skill is compel. That's interesting. My domain is haven. Also interesting. Resources. D6 haven. Equipment. Hooked blade. Let's see, has kill. D6. And then I choose one. A filigreed revolver. Bailiff's iron cudgel. Homemade spire black pipe bombs. I think I have to go with the pipe bombs. Let's see. So kill D6, ranged, spread, one shot. Interesting. So some core abilities. Are the cost of doing business, and mutually assured destruction. Nearly. You know what? Actually, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. I think instead I think I'm going to go Deadwalker instead. This doesn't feel right for what I want to do. So we're just going to erase this and move forward. Okay, one second. I don't have that resource. It's not compel, and it's not haven. So, Deadwalker, let's find this out. Okay, you're always obsessed with death. Maybe you're a nihilistic cultist. Cool. Okay, cool. This makes much more sense. So I get the Delve skill and the Domain of Desolate. Resource Bag of Interesting Teeth. D6 Desolate. Let's see. So yeah, the Deadwalker, just so you're aware, is half-dead drifters with keys to the back door of heaven, which I think fits with this idea of the penitent that we were kind of like making a little bit. So I pick one: hunting rifle, a great sword, or bootleg ambrosia and ritual blade, and it's definitely going to be the bootleg ambrosia and ritual blade. And let's see, this is mend, mind. Oh, mend mind. Interesting. D6, potent, expensive, and expensive. And the ritual blade is kill, D6. I think this makes a lot more sense. So I have that not yet ability from being a penitent, but death follows close, and enter the gray. And death follows close. You are followed around by a manifestation of your death that is invisible and intangible to everyone but you. The first time each session you suffer a major blood, mind, or fortune fallout, your death manifests to protect you and inflicts D8 stress on whatever caused the fallout. You also get Enter the Gray. You roll Delve plus Religion to enact this ritual. It takes around 10 minutes of preparation, e.g. donning ritual garb, yada yada yada. Within the Gray, the world is a shadowy echo of its living counterpart. Some souls linger here awaiting their eternal lord, but for the most part it is grim, empty, and monochrome. It says see a different page for traveling, surviving the Gray, and about exiting the Gray. So I need to choose my major and minor abilities, and I want to give something that's going to give me religion. So let's just say a minor. So I know one of the minors I want is Explorer, because you gain access to one of the following domains: cursed, desolate, occult, religion, technology, war, and wild. You can take this more than once, but I definitely want the religion so I can play with my abilities right from the outset. I think I'm all... Ooh. I think I want to have a knack, too, so I think I'm going to take Death Rites. Or Last Rites, rather. Sorry. And basically, you know enough about death rituals to be sworn in as the priest in 3 major faiths. Gain the religion domain. When you touch the brow of a recently dead person, you can ask their spirit a single question before it fades away. Now that's also going to give me a knack and religion, so TBD, because we're going to look that up in just a minute. And for my major ability, I kind of like that. This is fun. Descent. Echoes. Descent. What does this do? When you're in the gray, you may undertake a delve to one of the 8 heavens listed in the landmarks section. Choose which one you have access to and you take this advance. Oh. I kind of like Descent, and so that tells me I need to make a couple choices here. So we need to go to landmarks, because I can enter one of the heavens with that one, which is kind of cool, and ties into this whole penitent cleric idea that we've kind of been going with. But first things first, I need to figure out my knack for the religion domain. So let's find domains, rules, fallout, exploration. You know, we're gonna base that knack on the heaven that I can fall out or go into. Uh, Running the game, the world of heart. Okay, so my religion, I want to be the old gods. So I have a specialty in that with the old gods. Where are the heavens? Because I have to pick one. Is it? Let me just double check, make sure I'm reading this right. Okay. Soon as I just have to find the 8 heavens. What happens if you die in heaven? So there's the forest, which is wild. The Grail Road, which is desolate, and religion, which is probably what I'm going to go with because those are the 2 domains I have. The gray. That's interesting. The moon's faces. The moon. Oh, wait. Oh. The red moon. Oh, no. The palace multifaceted. The slumbering depths. And the source. I think I want to go with. So the 8 heavens are the forest, the Grail Road, the gray, the moon's faces, the palace multifaceted, the slumbering depths, and the source. And I think. Oh. Oh. No. I think I'm going to go with the moon's faces for the one that I pick. Because that will be interesting because I believe. Yeah, in my mind, that'll tie back to Ophi. And again, all of these locations are kind of detailed in the book, and I'm just kind of like putting stuff together that I think kind of makes a little bit of sense for me. But what it says about the moon's faces is on the edges of the moon garden, on a dark side of the moon, the dark city waits, a twisted maze of ruined buildings, each at least 5 stories high, where the souls of unworthy moon worshippers wait to watch. They'll be allowed into the moon garden, they're told. No one knows when or under what terms they'll be allowed in, but on occasion one of them will be permitted to step into the light and be welcomed into the loving arms of the goddess. But no one knows how to make that happen, and the wretched spirits of dark elves spend decades, centuries even trying to figure it out. It drives them mad. Oh, I was reading the Dark City. There's also the Moon Garden and the Red Moon. So these are all like different places. So if the Delvers visit one of the afterlives outlined below, there's a good chance that one or more of them might sustain a fatal wound in heaven and die on the wrong side. So like these are places you can go. So because of what I did with the Dead Walker, with the scent, when you are in the gray, which I can enter, you may undertake a delve to one of the 8 heavens listed in the landmark section. Choose which one you have access to when you take this advance. The delve will be risky unless you and your companions dress in ritual garb and make suitable preparations to enter the heaven in question. Returning to the Grey requires another delve, which can be harder or easier than the initial one depending on whether the heaven wants to keep you there. Yeah. So I think I'm going to change that knack from religion into ritual. Meaning that when ritual comes into play, that Driss is very, very good at it. Okay, so yeah, I know some of that probably didn't make some sense. The game is kind of what you make of it. The setting is vague but also evocative, which probably doesn't make much sense. But you get an idea of how to build a character. These three characters, ideally, I would probably put together, because in my mind, they kind of fit. But you don't have to. You can use all of them. You'll find all of their sheets on the blog Monday or Tuesday when I get it posted with a little blog entry about this stream tonight. But thank you so much for listening. Again, these characters are very easy to make. I did 3 of them in just about an hour, so I hope that helped you if you're interested in this game, kind of get a better understanding of what it looks like and how it functions. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I know it's late. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and until next week, stay safe, stay happy, and come and join us on Discord to talk about characters and anything and everything gaming. Have a good night. Bye-bye.